Château de la Napoule is a restored French castle located in Mandelieu-la-Napoule in the Alpes-Maritimes district of France. It has been classified as a historical landmark since 1993, and the gardens are listed by the French Ministry of Culture as amongst the most notable gardens of France. It was featured as one of the main locations in the 1999 movie Simon Says. The castle was constructed in the 14th century by the Countess of Villeneuve. Over the centuries, it was rebuilt several times. In the 19th century, it was turned into a glass factory. In 1918, it was purchased by two Americans, Henry Cloos Jr. and Maria Cloos. They restored and moved into the castle and added additional sections in their own personal style, with sculptures by Henry Cloos Jr. The castle is owned by the La Napoule Art Foundation, which was founded in 1951 by Marie Cloos and serves as a cultural centre. After Henry's death and during the Second World War, the castle was captured by German soldiers. Marie Cloos served the soldiers by acting as the maid of the castle staff, so she could stay close to her home and the memory of her husband. When the Cloos acquired the castle, the park had cedar and eucalyptus trees, and had been abandoned for years. Marie Cloos began the restoration of the gardens. The park of the castle today has elements of the garden à la Française and of an English landscape garden, with a grand alley, basins, perspectives and views of the sea. In addition, there are three smaller gardens in the Italian style: the Garden della Moncia, next to the Tower of La Moncia, under which the mausoleum of the Cloos family is located; the terraces, which overlook the Bay of Cannes, which are planted with cypress trees, hedges and rosemary; and the secret garden, in a corner of the walls with windows looking at the sea, with a Venetian well in the centre. Once an ancient construction, then a medieval fortress, the Château de la Napoule is known today for its neo-medieval style, which portrayed the fantasy and the relentlessness of the couple. A highlight of the mundane life on the French Riviera of the 1920s to the 1950s, it was the meeting place for artists, dandies, intellectuals, princes and princesses. In the 14th century, the courts of Villeneuve constructed Château de la Napoule based on the remains of the antique fortifications that exist to this day in each of the courtyards, the Roman Tower and the Saracen Tower. However, during the French Revolution, the chateau was destroyed. All that remains today is the exterior wall and a portion of the east wing. The chateau ruins were purchased by traditional glass workers. They reconstructed the central part of the chateau in order to install ovens and workshops. The current chateau structure was rebuilt in the 1920s. Henry Cloos was both a painter and a sculptor, and many of his works decorate the architecture of the chateau. The cloister, for example, is decorated with big-bellied and grimacing spirits that were inspired by pre-Columbian art. The Glick totem near the cloister welcomes the visitors to the chateau. On many parts of the structure, one will notice a monogram which evolved from the fusion of the signatures of each spouse. The H and the M are intertwined between two C's. The variations of the H or the C alone indicate the respective individual contributions of Henry or Marie to that particular aspect of the chateau. In front of the doors, where it is written "Once upon a time," stands the god of human mystics. This statue was a wedding gift from Henry to his wife. It is a moral self-portrait of Henry, who identifies a great deal with Don Quixote and the traits of this romantic knight and dreamer. At the base, an angel with a broken wing looks down at his navel. He represents the god of human love, whose narcissism and egocentrism stigmatize the faults of human nature. On the opposite side of the base, Adam and Eve are portrayed as young children. The adults guilty of the original sin are strangely seen as two innocent beings. The wreath of faces at the foot of the statue caricatures the bourgeoisie of the early 20th century. They are all key faces. Jesus surrounded by Marie and Mary Magdalene. and the two beautiful nurslings. It is a depiction of the struggle between good and evil. On his epitaph, Henry Clews uses the very terms master of the human mystic to describe himself. Today, the Clews mansion belongs to the La Napoule Art Foundation, which was created by Marie in 1951. The foundation was created as a tribute to Marie's husband Henry. The association's mission is to appreciate the works of Henry Clews and to host and fund resident artists from all around the world. The doors of the entrance hall and some of the furniture was imported by the couple in order to assure the medieval feel in the reconstructed areas of the chateau. On these doors the motto Mirth, Myth and Mystery is carved. We find the same carving on the tomb of Henry Clews. Although the father of Henry Clews possessed a powerful bank and he was well regarded on Wall Street, his son decided without his father's consent to consecrate himself to art, first to painting and finally to sculpture. His first exhibition was a failure. American critics blamed his failure on the fact that he hadn't attended an art school. Henry decided from then on to reserve the sole rights of his works to his entourage. With a natural gift for self-improvement, Henry, through contact with the Parisian art world, learnt more, and notably with his ties with Rodin, who shared a fascination for highly detailed and expressive figures. In the cases are Henry's first sculptures, created in classical style. The work of Clews is very diverse, incorporating the elements of primitive sculpture or a more modern sensibility. Similarly, a series of sculptures, the Bourgeoisie, depicts women of high society whose uncouth, overworked bodies evoke their moral ugliness. They are jealous, arrogant, and scornful. The doors and the columns decorating the gallery come from the Baroque Spanish church of the 17th century. In the case at the far end of the room are watercolours created by Henry, with a mosaic of details in pastel colours. They demonstrate a huge contrast to the first sombre paintings. You will see sculpted wooden doors with fantastic animals that open into the Gothic dining room. Next to the doors is the god of flies and the god of spiders, who caricaturize American critics who were little appreciated by Henry Clews. The doors of the Gothic dining room, which were sculpted by Henry Clews, represent two completely different societies. The gynocracy, a woman governs surrounded by two frail men. The trees do not bear a single fruit, and the animals are sad, and the praying mantises are ready to attack. In the second society, the androcracy, it is a man who governs, and the two healthy women surround him. This time there is an abundance of fruit, and the animals are happy, the birds are kissing. This chauvinistic attitude, alongside the dedication written above the doors, "Save me, Marie, from the gynocrats, scientists and democrats," was a jab at Elsie Clews, anthropologist, active feminist, and Henry's sister. To the right of the door, a portrait depicts the couple in medieval attire, which was worn to welcome the guests to the receptions. Marie Clews attempts to resemble the Virgin Saint, a theme that often appears in the chateau. Mary's real name was originally Elsie, like the detested sister of the sculptor. He asked her to change her name, and they chose Marie to evoke the Virgin Saint and to make once again that comparison. Two false backdrops add to the resemblance of this room to a church. In the alcove to the western side of this room is a display case that holds the Staffordshire ceramics that were made by Henry's grandfather. In the studio you can find all of the Clews styles, from the most classic with portraits of Henry's entourage to the most allegorical. A column on the theme of war illustrates the manifestation of the beastly instincts of man. At the end of the room, near a plasterwork of the face of Volatar, there is a photograph of Henry Cluse beside his own death mask, which itself resembles the face of Don Quixote, of the god of human mystics. The tombs near the chateau under his tower, Henry and Marie Cluse are buried in a way which evokes the love and the complexity of the couple. In the crypt, the two tombs are half open, as if the spirits of Henry and Marie moved the stones to find each other in the room above the tower. Access to this secret room is forbidden, and only a small window exists, so that their spirits can escape above the sea and be joined for eternity. Thanks for watching this Nocturnal Customs Limited production. Find us and give us a like on Facebook, and be sure to follow us on Twitter for more posts, videos and updates. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, where we will be bringing you more regular content on filmmaking, animation, my original music, the occasional cover song, as well as more of our feature project releases as they happen. You can find out more information about us on nocturnal3d.com, or contact me directly by emailing visualnz@gmail.com. If you like, you can also follow or contact us on Twitter, where we regularly post as NocturnalNZ, or you can keep in contact by giving us a like on Facebook at Nocturnal Customs.